Each month, Annie and I host a deeper dive, which is a live Q&A with an expert in the field of lactation, business, or personal development. The following snippet is from our most recent deeper dive. We hope you enjoy.
Well, hey there, Leah.
Hey, Annie, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic because I'm so excited about our special guest today and the deeper dive conversation we're about to have. Like the little bit we got to chat before we started, I'm like already like, oh, I have 5,000 more questions.
I know. I am very excited because today we are joined by Lisa Marasco, MA IBCLC, FILCA. Lisa's probably a name that you're familiar with because she's like literally written some of the books. Lisa Marasco has been working with breastfeeding mothers for over 35 years and has been an internationally board certified lactation consultant since 1993. She holds a master's degree in human development with a specialization in lactation consulting and was designated a Fellow of ILCA in 2009. Lisa is co-author of Making More Milk, the Breastfeeding Guide to Increasing Your Milk Production, a contributing author to the core curriculum for interdisciplinary lactation care, and a Cochrane Collaborative author. She has recently retired from WIC of Santa Barbara County, as well as her volunteer position with the Leche League, but she continues to research, write, and speak. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my great pleasure. This is going to be a lot of fun, I think.
Definitely. And we're really excited about getting a lot of feedback from the audience as well. I know you guys probably also have pressing questions that after you've read Lisa's books, want to know, more details about. So we definitely encourage you, if you have questions, you can pop them in the chat, or if you want to come on and ask Lisa live and be part of the recording, then you can raise your hand and we will definitely pull you on. But we wanted to start this conversation you've been doing this for a really long time. You've literally written the book on helping people with low milk supply. And I know that you've talked to, just countless numbers of LCs over the years and provided support for them understanding and growing in their knowledge base as well. And I was curious, if there was one theme or one idea or one concept that seems to be most misunderstood by LCs, and maybe a place where we should always think to dive in a little bit more, expanding our knowledge.
Oh, that is a really tough question.
Yeah, start them hard, right?
Yes. When I think about the LCs who contact me, first of all, they tend to be more curious people, which is wonderful.
Yeah.
They're the ones that want to dive a little deeper, and so they have some knowledge. They do. Not always a high level of confidence, but I think part of this whole career is knowing your limits, how much you know, what you're good at, and then asking for help when you don't. So I really respect people who reach out, who are trying to increase their knowledge level. I think that the whole hormone world has been difficult for people to grasp. And quite frankly, there's a good reason for that, because we don't really teach that. And, I speak on it, but I don't see the kinds of things that I speak on necessarily reflected in curriculum. And so I think everybody's on their own to learn some of this. So I think that makes it really tough.
And, hormones are tricky. I mean, there's endocrinologists, all they think about is hormones. And they sometimes are like, I don't understand this, So it's like, if the people who literally know everything about hormone physiology are also throwing their hands up like, I don't understand, that definitely means we have to be on our, quest to learn, quest to understand. And I think it's like you were saying, not in curriculum. There's a foundational physiological knowledge base about how hormones work and what are hormones and, where all the different places that they are excreted from and what effect do they have on all the different parts of the body and what receptors are there. I mean, there's just this foundational knowledge that if you don't understand that, trying to tack on all the pieces when it comes to just specifically lactation, I think it's where you can get so confused. myself included, And I feel like I have a pretty good knowledge base, and I still have to think really hard when I'm trying to look into this information.
Well, hormones, the whole hormone world is incredibly complex. We typically think in terms of the hormone. We don't think in terms of receptors. We don't think in terms of gene and receptor regulation. I mean, there are multiple layers to that topic.
Yeah.
Just understanding what hormones are in play or might be at risk is level one. And then what could be the issue? And like right now, I'm working on a galactagogue project. And like one of the articles that came up, I was so excited because they actually said in terms of prolactin, they commented it was animal research, but that there was up or down regulation of the prolactin receptors. I'm like, yes, because you can have enough prolactin, but if you don't have enough receptors, that's a problem. So
Yeah.
and it showed that this galactagogue seemed to help stimulate more receptors. So, I mean, that's, we're measuring prolactin, but you can't really measure receptors. And that's just another piece of that picture. So, I mean, this is my area of fascination. I've been eating, almost nobody can know what I know. And so it's just, I just feel for everybody else because I'm trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
trying to figure it out.
It's definitely not something for me. So I became an IBCLC in 2011. So I was one of the last cohort that didn't have to do background health science classes. Like I slid in under the wire as a Leche League leader. And when I recertified in 10 years later, I can't do math apparently at 10, in 2021, and going back and reviewing what I was expected to know for the exam about hormones and being like, I still don't understand this. I still don't understand the gap between how I was being asked to learn about hormones and what I was actually seeing in the client population that I was working with was so vast that I'm like, I don't know what it means when you say the thyroid is involved in lactation but doesn't control lactation. Like, what are you talking about? Because everyone has thyroid problems and it's causing problems. Like,
Right.
And I'm like, I don't know how to get from that statement of fact that I had to learn for the exam to how do I actually talk to clients about this? And where do I even get this information from? So I have done a lot of work personally just to teach myself, learn what I didn't and should have known, but didn't know. But you don't know what you don't know either.
Yeah. And so, and with that, the whole thyroid world, it can affect prolactin, it can affect oxytocin, either side. But I think a nice way to summarize it to parents is just to say, thyroid is the master gland or the other master gland. We say the pituitary is a master gland, and the thyroid is the other one because it really affects the pituitary. But metabolism, this is all involving metabolism. And when we talk about insulin issues, it's metabolic health, they're all linked. A lot of these conditions, one it impacts the other, or you can have a secondary due to one of these things. So if you can just put it in the paradigm of metabolism for start, just throwing it out there, that's kind of a starting point for me.
I think this kind of leads into one of the questions that we talked about in advance on the topic of metabolism. We'd asked you like if there's research, new and emerging research that's coming out that's exciting to you, or like what can you tell us about what you're seeing? And we did not talk about this in advance, so feel free to be like, I'm not prepared to talk about that today, but I'm super fascinated by the GLP-1 medications and what they're doing for people, and are there implications there for lactation and some of these processes? I'm super curious about that. And I don't know if it's okay if you're not prepared to talk about that.
Well, give me an example. Can you name one of the medications?
Yeah. So, for example, tirzepatide, which is working on, like, they're seeing it do things for people's like insulin resistance, blood sugar levels, they're not just like zapping weight off the people that are on them and the people that have been on them for long term. Full disclosure, I've been on that one now for 18 months, and the difference in my health, not having anything to do with weight, but just in my health, in my quality of life, has been remarkable. And looking at just in my own body and talking with other people that have been on these medications and how they feel in their bodies has opened up a lot of questions for me about what is going on in people's bodies when they're not making enough milk.
If you enjoyed that snippet, the good news is that deeper dive was recorded. And by joining our membership community, you can have access to that deeper dive as well as our entire vault of deeper dives going back through 2020. You will also be automatically invited to our live monthly deeper dives, so you can ask the experts directly all the questions you want to know about that topic. We look forward to seeing you at our next deeper dive.